make it impossible for you to become immortal. 4. Possessing nothing yet being totally unfettered. Possessing nothing means owning nothing at all. Not the sky, not the earth, no real estate, no power, no reputation, no relatives or lovers, no organization. Everything belongs to the greatest creator, everything belongs to nature. So I possess nothing. I am united with the greatest creator, with Tao, with all things, and even with death itself. Totally unfettered means having no one and nothing on your mind, that you can go wherever you want and do whatever you want without hesitation, worries, or fear, and that you can stay when you want to stay and leave when you want to leave with absolutely no worries. Because you have nothing, you do not worry about thieves, robbers, people borrowing money from you, being deceived, degraded, nor insulted, nor do you even worry about death. Because you have nothing, there is nothing to contend with and nothing to guard. Whether the sky falls, the earth fractures, the sea floods the land, or the land sinks into the sea. You have no anxieties, no worries. Life is like a bubble, and everything is as passing clouds. 5. Never doing anything while allowing all things to happen through Tao. Never doing anything while allowing all things to happen through Tao means surrendering your life to the greatest creator and leaving your life to the management of Tao with no ideals, wishes, plans, or pursuits, but trusting that nature will arrange everything, never having any special requirements or anything special to do. You work and rest each day as the sun rises and sets, because all active dharma are like dreams, illusions, bubbles, and shadows. Accomplish doing nothing and attending to non-affairs. If it is funny, play with it. If it is not, do not. If you meet water, then erect a rewards and punishment retributions and the cycles of cause and effect are neither my worries nor any of my business. Never sow in winter or pull up seedlings to help them grow in spring. When it is time to go, be unreluctant to leave. When you should be calm, do not be overambitious. Do not expect more wealth than that which you are destined to have. If you are destined to be a shepherd, then never envy princes, marquises, generals, or ministers. Everything is born, grows, will be punished, and will die by nature, so never borrow trouble. 6. Feeling no mercy or pity, but being natural and unrestrained. Feeling no mercy means that you are incapable of it, and that you can only ignore it. You see cats catching mice, lions tearing antelope apart, eagles scooping rabbits, and mantises attacking cicadas. These conditions are very cruel and make people sad, but can you do anything to stop them? Do you have a better arrangement? You know that you cannot stop them and that you do not have a better plan. You can only hold your compassion and pity. It is the arrangement of nature, so what will feeling pity accomplish? Life at Chanyuan has pointed a great way to heaven and created a paradise mode for people, but if they will not listen or take its way, then what can we do? Therefore, look at the suffering in the world. People are crying and shouting, but never waste your energy on mercy or pity. Having no pity means not being sad. Having no mercy or pity means not suffering from pain and grief when you face situations that you are incapable of changing. Of course, we should not have the heart or feelings of gloating over misfortunes. Being natural and unrestrained means being free and easy, unconfined, unworldly, looking elegant, having extraordinary demeanors, not cringing or groveling, not crying from one's grievances, having no entanglements or obsessions, never delaying when you should surrender something or someone, never crying when you should let go, never looking back and being nostalgic when you need to leave, welcoming death with a smile, and never resisting fear. Being natural and unrestrained means that when you face frustrating or unsatisfactory situations, you will not be merciful or sad, but handle them chicly. 7. Neither contending nor arguing, but walking with celestials. Not contending means not competing with others for wealth, power, status, fame, favors, awards, victories, or strength, let alone fighting, arguing, or debating for righteousness or kindness. Not arguing means not discussing, debating, arguing, or opposing others. If you think you are right, then do what you think is right. I will not argue with you about who is right or wrong or correct or false, or about beauty, ugliness, good, or evil, but I will discuss with you about justice and wickedness. Walking with celestials means associating with people who are positive, optimistic, open-minded, and unrestrained, and who bring happiness, joy, freedom, and blessings into your life. But not with those who cry, fuss, whine, complain about grievances, think big, are ambitious, and of course those who frown, are boring, sanctimonious, prim, do not know how to play, have too much trouble, and want to bind you with codependent affection. 8. Behaving with the elegant demeanor of a celestial being. Talking cheerfully and humorously. Behaving with the elegant demeanor of celestial beings has profound meanings. Not only does it refer to having the charm, posture, and the aura of fairies, but also to surpassing the bread and milk of life by enjoying music, chess, calligraphy, painting, poetry, and flowers. It refers more to possessing corresponding survival skills and techniques, the ability and intelligence to solve one's own eating, clothing, housing, transportation, life, old age, sickness, and death problems. I once wrote 64 details of gestating the behavior and elegant demeanor of celestial beings. Please refer to it and compare it with this. Talking cheerfully and humorously means talking about the past, and people forget their troubles but feel like bathing in the sunshine as celestial beings coming to Earth, and as if spring suddenly arrived in one night. There is a lot of more content about celestial nature, but if you understand the above 8 qualities, then you must be a celestial being. 人生常数生命常数宇宙平衡机制 Constants of life, and the balance mechanism of the universe. Xiefeng, August 8, 2020. Translated by Chanyuan and edited by Care. You know it very well and very clearly in your heart, but there is nothing you can do. But you have to say what you do not want to say or do, take the way you do not want to take, and continue dealing with people with whom you do not want to deal. In the end, you will find that there is no one to either condemn or praise, because if you were placed in that background, you would do the same. When you finally see that the messenger of the greatest creator is washing the toilet, that God is being nailed to a cross, that Buddha is weeping, that the emperor is the stupidest person around, that billionaires are starving to death, that the hottest and most powerful figures in the world are thrown into jail, that those who are proficient in history become obsequious for a bowl of rice, that very hardworking people are living in poverty, that ignorant and incompetent people are living, well, and so on and so forth, then you will finally know that life and life have constants and that the universe has a balancing mechanism. Do not envy others, do not look down on anyone, let alone lament your fate and be ashamed of yourself, because everything is balanced by constants. Do not be complacent because you are fully satisfied or content, because unexpected big sticks will fall down at any time and strike you dizzy. Do not despair because of hardships either, because no one knows whether the God of happiness may come to you in the next second and your life will turn bright. I see that life's constant is working, and that is the adjustment of the universe's balancing mechanism which no force can contain. What are constants? They are quantifications, the laws of repeated operations, natural and invisible phenomena, and universal laws that exist throughout the universe. In mathematics, they include pi, the golden ratio, and the Pythagorean constant. In physics, they include standard atmospheric pressure at sea level, the gravitational constant, the mass of particles, and so forth. In chemistry, they include the molecular formula, molecular weights, melting and boiling points of everything, density, the refractive index, purity, and so forth. Since constants are universal phenomena, there is no doubt that life also has them. For example, physical death is a constant that can be changed by neither desire nor effort. The numbers of breaths and pulse beats, and the lengths of lives must also be constants. Even the number of times that one can have sex must be a constant. It is like the facts that the numbers of bones, eyes, legs, and hairs on human bodies are certain. The most difficult things to determine are the constants of life. In terms of constants, how many blessings will a person enjoy? How many hardships will they endure? How much wealth will they have? Will they be respected and loved by many people? How much good luck will they have in adventures with the opposite sex? How many children will they have? How many people will they meet and love? Will they travel abroad? Will they live in a villa? Will they become officials, and how high will their ranks be? What kind of lives will they experience, and will they become a Buddha, a celestial, or whatever? These are all constants. Do you believe in life's constants? I do. Yesterday, I went to the Kamloops Hospital, which is more than 230 kilometers away. This is a large, high-end hospital where most people wore masks because doing so during this epidemic is said to reduce their risk of infection, but I did not wear one because I believe in life constants. My creed is, if you were supposed to die, then you would die even if you wore a mask that covered your entire body completely. If you were not supposed to die, then you would not die, even if you were immersed in a tank full of viruses and wanted to. What should happen will happen. You can run, but you cannot hide. If it did not work this way, then pi would not be the constant of 3.141, 592, 653, 589, 793, 238, 462, 643, 383, 279, 502, 88, but maybe 3.2. Is this possible? Of course not. From this, I think of the balance mechanisms of the universe. Energy conservation is a common sense that we all understand. The sum of all positive and negative energy in the universe is always its equilibrium point, 0. Anything that reaches an extreme will always return to it, and the development and change of anything is never allowed to escape too far from it. We figured out this truth from the phenomena of human life. If you enjoy too much when you are young, then you will suffer when you are old. If you talk too much, then you will be shut up in the end. If you eat too much fish and meat and waste much on the dining room table, then one day you will be hungry or might even starve to death. Those who beat others will eventually be beaten, and those who hurt others will eventually be hurt. If you own too much, then you will be fretted continuously, even to the point of having to spit out all you have. If you are too complacent, then you are bound to look bad in the end. In front of constants, gods, Buddhas, and celestial beings cannot escape from being constrained, let alone human beings. Saddam Hussein, the commander-in-chief of the Iraqi armed forces, never expected to be hanged when he flaunted his might. Do you think that you are more powerful than Saddam was? Is there a way to balance? Yes. That is, the way of the greatest creator, the way of nature. Is there a way to escape from being constrained by constants? Yes. That is, selfless dedicating and giving. 真相是神的频道. Truth is the channel of God. Xiefeng. December 8th, 2020. Translated by Chanyuan and edited by Care. The more truth you know, the closer you are to God. The more falsehoods you know, the closer you are to Satan. To face the truth is to face God. If you do not want to face the truth, you can only face Satan. Those who reveal and spread the truth are the sons and daughters of God. Those who conceal and obliterate it are of Satan. What makes people happy and joyous must be true. What makes them worried and painful must be false. If people live in happiness, joy, delight, pleasure, blessedness, they live in truth. If they live in trouble, pain, anxiety, sorrow, and fear, they live in falsehoods. The truth is often hidden in illusions and falsehoods. We can only understand the truth from our own actual feelings. You cannot know the truth by scriptures, nor by masters' preachings, ideals, beliefs, faith, piety, affection, conceptual logic, reasoning, nor by information and reports on TV networks, let alone by your parents' and teachers' words and deeds. Only your own inner feelings will teach you the truth. It is like durian and stinky tofu. Any description from the outside world is not its real taste. You can only know that by tasting it yourself. You should have a taste of the truth. The truth is not horrible. What is horrible is to be perplexed by the false. To make your life better and enter heaven, you must face the truth. The more you escape the truth, the more miserable your life will be, and the more you will slide into an abyss. This world is completely shrouded in falsehoods. Everyone lives in them. The truth, spread by people in falsehoods, is also a kind of high-level falsehood. If you listen to and believe it, then you will be fooled by the devil. All concepts are shackles, barriers, and obstacles to finding the truth. The more concepts you learn from the human world and the more human-created truth you know, the further away you will be from the real truth. If you want to learn, just learn from all the things and phenomena in nature, because only they can reveal the real truth to you. In terms of enlightening value, the most valuable words of mankind in this session belong to the words of Jesus Christ, Buddha Shakyamuni, and celestial Lao Tzu. So go and find the road to the truth in the Bible, the Diamond Sutra, and the Tao Te Ching. These are the most direct revelations. If you are really too stubborn to find the truth, then try to get rid of troubles, pain, anxiety, sorrow, fear, and death. The way to happiness, joy, freedom, blessedness, and eternal life is to let the greatest Creator live in your heart. Trust the greatest Creator completely, then go forward by following your feelings and the greatest driving force in your heart. Being true to yourself is also facing the truth. Do not deceive yourself. Nothing about you has anything to do with others. If you think that everything about yourself is caused by others, then you must be living in falsehood, and you have not yet found the real truth. 什么样的环境招来什么样的生灵? 55. What kind of environment attracts what kind of creatures? Xiefeng. September 21st, 2019. Translated by Chanyuan and edited by Care. The front and rear yards of Chanyuan's International Family Headquarters in Canada are each more than 2,600 square meters. In 2017, they were both highly covered in debris and no birds visited either of them. In 2018, I started to clean both yards, but as our lawnmower was small, the thatch in the backyard was not cleaned up and birds continued to remain distant, but several Canadian geese and crows were attracted to the front yard. In 2019, I bought a larger mower and cleared both yards to be green and lush. Then in the spring, many unknown birds appeared, especially hummingbirds. A flock of crows came to the lawn for food and stayed for a long time. Sometimes, the lawns housed more than 70 birds at once. In spring and summer, more than a dozen Canadian geese began foraging for food in the front yard, and recently in autumn, more than a dozen Canadian geese began to leisurely forage in the backyard. From the above phenomenon, I came to the revelation that the types of environments will determine the kinds of creatures who will be attracted to them. The former third branch of Chanyuan in China was located in a valley, and after more than a year of environmental renovation by our Chanyuan celestials, groups of chirping birds became attracted to it. From morning to night, the chirping of birds had become endless, and they were very beautiful to hear. It was really a case of birds singing and flowers giving forth their fragrances. Do you remember the few persimmon trees from which we ate most of the fruit, leaving the remainder for the birds? Then we planted a few acres of wheat, all of which the birds ate. Someone suggested that we should not let the birds eat all of our wheat, but I countered that it did not matter who ate it. Let the birds eat it. As a result, there were more and more birds, and they settled in the third branch in pairs and groups all year round. The type of environment determines the types of creatures that will be attracted to it. Mountains attract tigers, grasslands attract wolves, jungles attract lions and leopards, stagnant pools attract crocodiles, wetlands attract migratory birds, the Gobi Desert attracts lizards, green mountains and blue waters attract good weather, poor mountains and stale waters attract violent storms, bad emperors attract treacherous villains, wise emperors attract upright ministers and righteous men, brothels attract whoremasters, galleries attract artists, casinos attract gamblers, and battlefields attract soldiers. A large number of phenomena in nature and human society prove that the type of environment will determine the kind of creatures that it will attract. Environments are divided into natural ones and spiritual ones. Natural ones are like this, so what about spiritual ones? The answer is the same. The type of spiritual environment determines the types of gods and deities who will be attracted to it. If the spiritual environment is like a garden of flowers, then it will attract bees and butterflies. But if it is more like stinky shit, then it will attract flies. There is a large number of stories about soul possessions among the people. This kind of phenomenon definitely exists. As for the type of soul possession, that is determined by the spiritual environment of the possessed. Those who deliberately mystify things will be possessed by ghosts or monsters. Those who talk about spirits and deities will be possessed by evil spirits. Those whose spiritual environments are pure will attract angels and bodhisattvas. And those whose spiritual environments are extraordinary and spotless will be possessed by gods. Understanding the above principles, we can explain some phenomena, such as earthquakes, volcanoes, tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, plagues, turmoil, fires, and so on. There must be something wrong with people's spiritual environments in those places because each of those environments can invite either auspiciousness or disasters. Similarly, if people often encounter villains, bullies, insults, ugly scenery, misfortunes, and disasters, and unhappy people or things, then needless to say, it is their own spiritual environments that have gone wrong. The problem is caused by their own spiritual environments. From this, we can further understand the truth of how to be human beings. If we want nature to make the weather smooth, then we must love her and cherish her life. If we want to make our life safe and smooth, then we must have kind thoughts in our hearts, not thoughts of hurting others and taking rash actions, but of restraining our greed. If you want to attract butterflies and bees, then you must grow flowers in your soul garden. If you want to attract birds, plant more fruit trees. And if you want to attract noble people, be grateful. Have you ever seen God with your own eyes? Have you ever seen the Buddhas? Have you ever seen a fairy? No? Do you know why you have not seen them? The reason is that the environment of your mind is not worthy of doing so. I have a saying, absolutely beautiful things can only be enjoyed by absolutely beautiful lives. Pigs only deserve to live in pig pens, and regular people are only worthy of struggling in the world of suffering. If we want to enjoy our lives in fairy worlds, then our spiritual environments must match the fairy world environment. The Queen Mother of the West would never invite anyone randomly to a banquet at the Immortal Peach meeting. Understanding this, the type of environment determines the types of things, beings, and deities that will be attracted to it, and the main task of a person's life is to create their own beautiful natural and spiritual environments instead of devoting all their time and energy to study, work, and forming connections. It is really the case of fragrances will attract butterflies to flowers, and pure hearts will be frequented by celestial beings, and, once the roots are established, the way will grow therefrom. 唯有破釜沉舟者，才有希望打开天国之门. Only those who burn bridges behind them have hope to open the gate to heaven. Xiefeng, May 25, 2018. Translated by Chanyuan and edited by Peter. The ones who burn the bridges behind them are people who walk forward with all their hearts without having a way to retreat. Jesus Christ warns us, "He who looks back while holding the plow in his hand is not worthy of entering the kingdom of God." The world, where human beings dwell and live, is a kind of program, and this program is only suitable for human survival. If you want to live in the heaven where gods, Buddhas, and celestial beings live, you must escape from the world's program. Without leaving behind the world's program, it is absolutely impossible for you to enter the space of gods, Buddhas, and celestial beings. From the world to the realm of the gods, that is, the kingdom of heaven, people should not think and arrange everything with human thinking. If you think and plan with human thinking, you can only go round and round in the world and never get out of the cave of silken web which is the world's program. There are 36 8-diagram arrays in the world's program, and these 36 8-diagram arrays tightly restrain people in the space where they live. If one wants to escape from the 36 mazes, it is as difficult as to cut one's skin and open the flesh and break the heart, and it is almost as a rebirth from the ashes. Do you dare to burn the bridges behind you? If you dare not and don't want to, you should never fantasize that you can get out of the 36 8-diagram arrays, eliminate the cycle of reincarnation, and enter the heavenly world of gods, Buddhas, and celestial beings. When can one's potential be maximized? Answer: only when there is no retreat and tomorrow's food and shelter are still unavailable. If you have a plan to retreat and you have food and shelter for tomorrow, then your potential will never be maximized. People are inert, and it is human nature to pursue ease. Once a person has a stable income and a comfortable environment, it is difficult for them to burn the bridges behind them and create a new world. People have anxiety, sorrow, and fear, and it is precisely this kind of negative, tragic psychology that hinders one's full use of his potential. Not to mention giving up all your possessions to pursue your dreams. Just the thinking of possessing nothing is enough to scare you away, let alone burning the bridges behind you. Once a person is born in the world, he is always struggling to possess knowledge, possess skills and techniques, possess marriage and family, possess children and grandchildren, possess beauty, possess real estate and vehicles, possess kinship, friendship, and love, possess money, possess rights, possess fame, and a stable job, etc. The tragic reality is that when people die, they possess nothing. Even if you own a grave, it will disappear in a short time. May I ask, where are our possessions? Are we still qualified to control what we once had? What if we ask a man in his teens or 20s, is life long? The answer must be that life is long, and there is a lot of time to squander freely. But if we ask a person in his 60s or 70s, is life long? The answer must be that life is too short. Life is only a moment, just a dream. There is not much time left to spend freely. Is your life wonderful? If you have never burned the bridges behind you, don't say that your life is wonderful. Have we ever seen a donkey with a wonderful donkey life? Have we seen pigs and sheep with wonderful pig and sheep lives? Of course, as pigs or donkeys, some of them may say, my pig life is wonderful and my donkey life is wonderful. But in the eyes of people, no matter how fat a pig is, how stubborn a donkey is, their life is not wonderful at all. It is just a tragedy. What about people? Have you ever been wonderful? You have never burned the bridges behind you. Where does the wonder come from? If a person who confines his life to only a short period of 70 to 80 years, and finally goes to the end of his life in his waning years with nostalgia, regrets, and fears, is it not a tragedy? Don't comfort yourself anymore. Life is a tragedy. Who dares to say that the pig's life is not a tragedy? Who dares to say that the life of a donkey is not a tragedy? So, dare you say that human life is not a tragedy? If anyone who cannot see where he is going after death, he lives in vain. Even to live in vain, they have to go on, but to live helplessly. If you do not want to live your life in vain, you must follow the teachings of Christ Jesus, Buddha Shakyamuni, and Celestial Laozi. Don't follow the teachings of people like Confucius, etc. The thinking of Confucius is entirely human thinking, and it has not risen to the thinking level of gods, Buddhas, and celestial beings at all. If you learn from people, you will follow their way, and you can only be humans. Only by learning from gods, Buddhas, and celestial beings can you follow their way and get out of the 36 mazes, see where you are going after death, and turn your tragic life into a happy life. Of course, if you learn from demons, ghosts, spirits, and monsters and follow their way, you can also walk into their world. I would like to remind you that in today's world, there are more and more demons, ghosts, spirits, and monsters, and they are all busy looking for members to expand their territory. How can we practice and fully realize the teachings of Christ Jesus, Buddha Shakyamuni, and Celestial Laozi to achieve our best wishes and realize our ideals? That is to burn the bridges behind us and don't look back while holding the plow in your hand. 自然之道, the way of nature. 写评. January 28, 2018. Translated by Chanyuan and edited by Peter. The way of nature is the way of the greatest creator. The way of Tao is natural. Everything that conforms to nature belongs to Tao. The way of Tao is manifested by nature. The way to enter Tao is to be natural. The way to attaining Tao is to conform to nature. The way to unite with Tao is to follow nature. Nature is the laws and principles and various existences and phenomena of the boundless universe. To follow nature means to think and act in accordance with these laws and principles, and not to artificially interfere and change its original operating programs. The way of nature is the operating program defined by the laws and principles of the boundless universe. The main path, Tao, is easy to walk on. The main path is the way of nature. The way of nature is simple and easy to walk on, smooth and soothing. All behaviors that violate nature are called going against the Tao, and going against the Tao is complicated, difficult, tortuous, and painful. People, when you feel that life is happy, joyous, free, and blessed, it proves that you are walking in the way of nature. People, when you feel that life is full of troubles, pain, anxiety, or sorrow, it proves that you are walking against the Tao. How do you follow the way of nature? Eat when you should eat, drink when you should drink, sleep when you should sleep, do when you should do, play when you should play, use when you should use, live when you should live, die when you should. Do not worry, do not get angry, do not persevere, do not expect, do not seek success, do not seek excellence, do not make plans, do not set goals, do nothing as everything will eventually fall into place. Take things as they are, associate with others by following the predestined relations, act in accordance with your nature, take advantage of opportunities as they arise. What kind of behavior can be accounted as against the Tao? When you should eat, you do not eat. When you shouldn't eat, you eat. When you should drink, you do not drink. When you should not drink, you drink. When you should sleep, you do not sleep. When you shouldn't sleep, you sleep. When you should act, you take no action. When you shouldn't act, you act. When you should play, you do not play. When you shouldn't play, you play. When you should use something, you do not use it. When you should not use something, you use it. When you should live, you do not live. When you should not live, you insist on living. When you should die, you do not die. When you should not die, you want to die. You are worried and angry, persisting and expecting. You seek success, shortcuts, excellence, magical power, and miracles. You make plans, set goals. You get caught in your own trap. You are not satisfied, insatiable, and insist on glorifying your ancestors. You insist on owning houses and cars, being the best kind of man and becoming a celestial being and Buddha, etc. What are the benefits of taking the way of nature? The advantages are calmness, peace, joy, health, less trouble, and less sin. What are the consequences of going against the Tao? The disadvantages are being impetuous, distracted, worried and anxious, dogged by bad luck, and committing evil again and again. From the above benefits and consequences of walking with or walking against the way of nature, we can see that the consciousness level of those who follow the way of nature is high. According to the Hawkins energy and emotion hierarchy diagram, the energy level of those who follow the way of nature is above 540, and the energy level of those who are against the Tao is below 200. It can be confirmed that those who go to heaven are those who follow the way of nature, and those who go to the animal world and hell are those who go against the Tao. Li ling zhi hun, zhi ling xin hun, xin ling xing hun. Profit fails wisdom. Wisdom fails the heart fails nature. Xiefeng, July 13th, 2018. Translated by Chanyuan and edited by Peter. The short human life is full of ups and downs, mixed with joy and sorrow. The human life is like a bubble, full of uncertain separations and reunions and thousands of regrets. Before reaching the end of its life, your body and soul collapse and you are overwhelmed by grief. Without understanding what is going on, you sink into the sea of suffering and the cycle of reincarnation. What is so powerful that it makes our life scene of blooming bleak and tears down the luss? The answer is profit, wisdom, and the heart. Profit fails wisdom. Looking through the historical scrolls of images, the word profit has overwhelmed so many heroes and charming people. Waves of tragedy, waves of regret, like windswept clouds rolling, the irrational profit-seeking people go down the riverbed of human history, which makes these people deeply sigh with sadness. Profit, whether it is for the benefit of power, wealth, or fame, as long as you pursue it, you will lose your rationality and reason. In the end, you will bury your kinship, friendship, good years, and even your bright future as well as your precious lives in the bottomless abyss of profit and desire. Just look at people who are running for profit. They focus only on profit, and they are desperate for profit, and few of their lives do not end in tragedy. Profits, which are obtained by serving others, are good. Profits, which are obtained by merit, are complete. The rest are all disasters. Wisdom fails the heart. The heart is like a mirror, and the mirror can observe the cause and effect of things in the world, which makes one's mind pure, consciousness clear, and spirit energetic. If the mirror is covered with dust, one cannot see clearly and cannot see through the truth of things. As a result, people will be confused, often making wrong judgments and having bad behavior. When a person is knowledgeable, intelligent, arrogant, and pretentious, their heart is muddled. Just look at the people who write books and make statements, those who teach scriptures, those who write long speeches, and those who sell morals and ethics. They are all people with high intelligence. However, their hearts are mostly muddled. This is called wisdom makes the heart dim. Believing and following the preaching and guidance of these dim-hearted people is like walking toward the desert and death. The heart fails people's nature. The heart is born for all things and all phenomena. Without the boundless universe, there would be no heart. When this phenomenon occurs, the mind will be born. When this phenomenon disappears, the mind will die. The mind changes with the condition. There are very few people who can change the condition with their heart. People have many things on their mind, and their hearts have many knots. The mind is a mirror, which only reflects objective reality. The mind is not the objective reality itself. Therefore, the mind is not reliable. When we rely on the illusion of the heart to make inductive judgments and then make decisions and put them into action, we are deceived by phenomena. Our hearts are constantly changing. If we know each other, we will intuitively understand each other, and we are very much in love. But if two hearts are apart, we are seemingly in harmony but in fact at variance, and we become strange bedfellows. Can we rely on our hearts? Who can be sure that his heart will never change? Your own heart will change. Can you believe that others' hearts will not change? What can be relied on is a person's nature. It's easy to change rivers and mountains, but hard to change a person's nature. Nature is the original appearance of things. The Patriarch Bodhidharma clearly stated in his Bloodstream sermon that, if you want to find Buddha, you must perceive nature. Without the perception of nature, it's no use reciting Buddhist scriptures, fasting, and keeping precepts. Without the perception of nature, even those who can explain the creed of the 12 classics can only say demonic words. If you have perceived nature, you don't need to read the Buddhist scriptures and chant the name of Buddha. It's no use learning much since it will dim your spiritual consciousness. Overlooking the world, it's crowded with people and vehicles, feasting and revelry, hustling and bustling and jostling each other. These are all illusions. When we were alive, we felt that everything was true, and when we died, everything fell into silence. Isn't it a tragedy to live a whole life, be busy for a whole life, but return to emptiness, not knowing where you came from and where you are going? Isn't it a tragedy? The Buddha Shakyamuni has already stated clearly, all active dharma are like dreams, illusions, bubbles, and shadows, like dew and lightning. Thusly should you meditate upon them. However, once you have perceived nature, the situation is very different. Melting into nature is eternity. Living in nature means reaching heaven. The realm of eight without is what I said the spiritual state of an immortal reached. But without the perception of nature, it is hard to enter the wonderful realm of eight without. The conclusion is, do not pursue profit, do not show wisdom, do not rely on your heart, and allow your nature to bloom. 恐惧使我们远离真理. Fear keeps us away from the truth. Xiefeng, August 15th, 2018. Translated by Chanyuan and edited by Peter. Fear refers to the intensely depressing emotional experience that people feel when they are facing a certain dangerous situation, which they tried to get rid of but were unable to do anything. When fear occurs, it is often accompanied by a series of physiological changes, such as rapid heartbeat or irregular heartbeat, shortness of breath or pauses, increased blood pressure, a pale face, trembling lips, dry mouth, cold sweats, weakness in the limbs, etc. The phenomenon of physiological dysfunction often causes or promotes the occurrence of physical diseases. On the other hand, fear can cause obstacles to people's perception, memory, and thinking process, can make people lose the ability to analyze and judge the current situation, and cause behavior disorders. Baidu Encyclopedia. Faced with sudden dangers and crises, it is normal for people to be afraid. But before the coming of risks and crises, people can fantasize about a certain dangerous situation which causes them to feel fear. This is abnormal. It is a kind of disease, a kind of mental illness. Fear not only causes physiological dysfunctions, malfunctions of thinking, and behavior disorders, but also takes people far away from the truth. The closer to the truth, the farther away from fear. The farther away from the truth, the closer to fear. A person who has no fear is a person who is one with the truth, and a person who is fearful is a person who is one with falsehoods, evil, and ugliness. What is truth? Truth is Tao. What is Tao? Tao is the consciousness of the creator of everything and every phenomenon in the universe, and it is the synthesis of all the laws and principles of the universe. Only by knowing the Tao and being one with the Tao can all kinds of fears be eliminated. If you stay away from the Tao, you will be afraid in your heart. From this we can see that if we are afraid in our hearts, it proves that we do not know the Tao. If we are constantly in fear, it proves that we do not understand the Tao at all and do not understand the truth. Simply put, the more we fear, the closer we are to hell. The less we fear, the closer we are to heaven. Therefore, among the 8 without realms described in the Sutra of attaining the state of immortality, one of them is without fear. If there is still fear, it means you have not attained the state of immortality yet. The lower the realm of life, the more fear there is. The higher the realm of life, the less fear there is. Hell is full of fear. Heaven is full of joy. So, if we're in an environment where there's a lot of fear, it proves that this environment is very bad, almost like hell. If we live in an environment where there is little fear, it proves that it is an ideal environment, almost like paradise. It thus can be seen that a person who has many fears is close to hell. A person who has little fear is near heaven. What do we fear? Why should we fear? If we haven't done anything that hurts the world, why should we fear? If we haven't done anything stealthily, why should we fear? If we haven't done anything illegal, why should we fear? If we haven't hindered others living, why should we fear? We fear because we have been hiding something in our hearts. We fear because we have possessed too much, had too strong a desire for fame and fortune, and have been too ambitious. We fear because we are deeply entangled with secular ties, have too much sin and too little merit, and are too selfish. We fear because we do not understand the laws of heaven. We do not know the facts. We cannot distinguish between good and evil, and we are far away from the truth. We fear because we gain things we shouldn't gain. We fear because we have no faith and do not understand the Tao. If we know a little about Tao, we should have no fear. Not to mention the deep connotation of Tao, just examine the 3 connotations of Tao, and we should not allow fear to be generated. Point 1. As a man sows, so shall he reap. Divine punishments, though slow, are always sure. Good will be rewarded with good, and evil with evil. If the reward is not forthcoming, it is because the time has not yet come. When the time comes, one will get one's due reward. 2. The sum of the positive and negative energies of the universe is 0, and what you pay and what you receive are always equal. Point 3. Everything in the universe runs in the Tao, and governments and everyone in the world also run in the Tao. The Tao is fair. It is up to the greatest creator to judge who is right or wrong, and it is up to Tao to assess our merits and faults. What should come will come. What should go will go. If we understand the above 3 points, will we still fear? If you still fear, then I tell you, you have done too many bad things. Then it's unreasonable if you do not fear. If you do not fear, who should fear? Of course, you should fear. Those who live in hell live in fear all the time. Examining our own lives, if we have always adhered to truth, goodness, beauty, love, faith, sincerity, diligence, and harmony, we need not fear. If we have been giving selflessly, we have not taken advantage of others, have not harmed nature, society, others, or other lives, why should we fear? If we have not violated the law and discipline, have not humiliated our ancestors, have not blasphemed God and Buddha, and have not blasphemed the spirits and deities, why should we fear? If we haven't blocked the way of others, haven't disturbed others' preaching, haven't judged others, haven't derogated others, haven't got in the way of others' living, why should we fear? If we haven't been extravagant and wasteful, and we have treated everything with kindness and love, why should we fear? Do we not believe that there are divinities watching over us? Do we not believe that our words and deeds, every action, every thought, are all being monitored and judged by the arrangements of Tao? If we think that the Tao will also do wrong to good people, it can only show that we do not understand the law of heaven, the law of Tao at all. If we are tortured and punished, the problem is not in external factors, but in ourselves. Then, fear is useless. Complaining and resentment are even more useless. No one can escape the reward or punishment of a victim. Finally, what I want to tell you is that people with fear have no relationship with health, joy, freedom, happiness, and heaven. The Bridge to the Celestial Islands. Xiefeng, October 5, 2018. Translated by Chanyuan and edited by Peter. It is said that the core of truth is in one sentence, while falsehoods are spread through millions of books. For 18 years, I have devoted myself to studying, preaching, and solving mysteries. Today, I can encompass the vast truth into 3 words: faith, love, and nature. That is to say, as long as you can exhibit faith, love, and nature to the extreme, you can reach the celestial islands, reach heaven. Or it can be said that we can achieve our greatest desires and realize our best ideals without reading extensively, researching and exploring, struggling and working hard, practicing abstinence from meat and saying prayers, as long as we completely believe, love, and let our nature blossom. Faith is a state of consciousness and mentality that has no doubts about the truth, things, or people. The first and most important thing to do in a person's life is to solve the problem of faith. Once the problem of faith is solved, the road of life is filled with happiness and freedom, and the road of life is filled with flowers and fragrances, and your life will be in order, and you can see in one encompassing vision how tiny all the mountains are. What to believe? You can believe in anything. As long as you believe, you grasp the core, the key, and you can fulfill your wishes. You can believe in the greatest creator, the ancestor of Buddha, believe in Tao, Jesus, Shakyamuni, Lao Tzu. You can believe in the king of devils, ghosts, the emperor, the president, the master, money, power, fame, profit, and carnal pleasure. You can believe in your parents, your children, your husband, your wife, your boss, your friends. You can believe in atheism, theism, creation theory, evolution theory, communism, capitalism, planning theory, and market theory. You can believe in the sun, the moon, the water, the mountains, the tortoises, and the caterpillars. You can believe in yourself, believe in everything whimsical, believe in lies, believe in strange conversations. In short, whatever you believe in, you can achieve something. As long as you firmly believe and have no doubts, your wishes will be fulfilled, and this is where the secret of magical powers also lies. For example, if you firmly believe that you can become a dragon, you can do it. And if you firmly believe that you can turn a stone into gold, you can definitely do it. Once you believe it, do not doubt it. Believing with doubts is not believing. When we doubt our beliefs, then our minds will become overcast with clouds and wind, flying sand and rocks. Even chickens and dogs will become restless around us. For example, between husband and wife, if the husband does not believe in the wife, or the wife does not believe in the husband, then the couple will become strange bedfellows, each having their own axe to grind, and they will be uneasy, will start quarreling and fighting, and start living a life of misery. Since you believe something, do not use your own standards to test, judge, and examine what you believe. For example, if you believe that your boss is a real gentleman, then do not be displeased because your boss farted or molested a woman. For example, if you believe in the greatest creator, do not have doubts because you have encountered setbacks or hardships. Love is the most beautiful state in heaven and in the world. It is a state that combines truth, goodness, beauty, faith, sincerity, peace, and joy. Look at the blooming flowers. Love is in the blooming flowers. When a person becomes filled with love, he is the most sacred, most pure, most beautiful, and most radiant life in the universe. He is a Buddha, an angel, and a celestial being. Love has no desires. Love has no conditions attached. Love cannot be hurt. Love has no pain. Love has no self. Love has no object. Love has no morals or ethics. And love is irrespective of right or wrong. The essence of love is selfless giving and dedication. If a person is easily injured because of love, psychological injury, he has demands and expectations, troubles, pains, and regrets from the outside world because of his giving and dedication. He is angry, complaining, and raging because of love, and he is anxious, worried, and fearful because of love. He has no sense of love, and he himself does not love. Nature is a kind of primitive magnetic field formed by the structure of things, that is, the features of things. Nature is Buddha, nature is a celestial being, nature is an angel, and nature is truth. In the same way, nature is the devil, nature is a monster, nature is a demon, and nature is spirits. Nature is innate, and nature is Tathagata. Following one's nature means being natural. Following one's nature is to be one with the Tao. If you are following your nature, do not rely on your own cognition and thinking to analyze and judge, and do not weigh the pros and cons, but just live out your own Tathagata nature. The world's vast and voluminous scriptures, wisdom, knowledge, and preaching about self-improvement and self-refinement can be summed up in these three words: faith, love, and nature. These three words are the bridge to the celestial islands. 遵循自然之道，潇洒度人生. Follow the way of nature and live your life naturally and without restraint. Xiefeng, October 10th, 2018. Translated by Chanyuan and edited by Peter. The way of the greatest creator is the way of nature, and the way of nature is based on the laws and principles that are strictly followed by all things. The way of nature is a program. Following this program is in line with the way of nature. Violating this program is deviating from the way of nature. Follow the way of nature and everything will be harmonious, including social harmony, physical harmony, mental and spiritual harmony. If you go against the way of nature, everything will be chaotic and disorderly, society will be turbulent, and people will have constant troubles, anxiety, and restlessness. Let's comprehend the way of nature from the gestation and birth of human beings. A few micrometers of sperm and a few millimeters of eggs combine, then develop, and finally turn into a healthy human body. The complexity of this human body is unimaginable, with limbs and hair, internal organs, bones and nerves, blood and cells, 9 apertures, and a meridian, height and skin color, etc. are all achieved proportionally. At the same time, the motor system, digestive system, respiratory system, urinary system, reproductive system, endocrine system, immune system, nervous system, and circulatory system are naturally achieved. After that, the feelings of the 7 emotions and 6 desires are born naturally, and when the pregnancy is completed in 9 months, the child will be born naturally. This series of complex developmental processes is a kind of program, and this program is the way of nature. Follow the way of nature, and everything will be accomplished naturally without any effort. The entire universe is part of the way of nature, and there is no doubt that people are also part of the way of nature, especially the birth, growth, and death of people are part of the way of nature. Since man is part of the way of nature, then we follow the way of nature. How to follow the way of nature? Do the following. Accept whatever comes up, follow your predestined relationships, follow one's nature, and be non-active. Take advantages of opportunities as they arise and be in peace. Since the way of nature is a kind of program, the program sets everything up, and the program accomplishes everything, then we will live our lives naturally and unrestrainedly according to the program and let everything happen without extra effort. Accept whatever comes up. Take things as they are, ask for nothing. When everything comes naturally, just accept and endure. If there is a thatched house, then live in the thatched house. If there is a villa, then live in the villa. If there is a luxurious palace, then live in the luxurious palace. If there is an airplane, take the plane. If there is a car, drive the car. If you have a bicycle, ride the bicycle. If you must walk, then set out on foot. If you are to be a president, be a president. If you need to be a beggar with peace of mind. Never envy anything, never ask for anything deliberately. There are thousands of people with thousands of faces and hearts. Never imitate others, never follow in others' footsteps, never listen to others' demands, never listen to success lectures and demagogy, never let power, status, reputation, beauty, money, house, car, awards, etc. guide you. Just be yourself, only be yourself. Follow your predestined ties. Follow your predestined relationships with people. When a good relationship comes naturally, follow it and associate with it, but not to fawn, cling to, or deliberately pursue. Follow the predestined relationships with affairs. Whenever something happens, just do it, no matter what it is, as long as you like it, as long as it suits your hobbies and expertise. Devote your time and energy to it and do it happily. Follow your fate. Accept whatever your destiny is happily. If you are destined to be 1.6 meters tall, do not be worried and envious of 1.8 meters. If you are destined to live by singing, then sing to your heart's content and never envy scientists or shepherds. If you are destined to have yellow skin and black eyes, never envy white skin and blue eyes. Follow your predestined relationships with places. Wherever you go, it is your home, and you will love all the places where you go. If you were born in Africa, never yearn for Europe. If you live in the countryside, never envy the city. If you live well somewhere, never deliberately move to another place or even think about emigrating abroad. Follow one's nature, be non-active. A bird will definitely fly. A flower will definitely bloom. An earthworm must be in the soil. A thief will definitely steal. A spider will definitely make a web. A hen will definitely lay eggs. With all lives, their living environment and their way of survival are determined by their nature. Asking tigers to eat grass, asking lambs to eat meat, asking fish to live on the grassland, and asking cattle and sheep to survive in water, all are against their nature. Only by following their own nature will they feel leisurely and relaxed. If you have a diamond cutter, you can do the work of mending porcelain wares. Without a diamond cutter, never try to mend porcelain wares. Follow your nature and let it fully bloom. Do not suppress yourself, and do not force yourself to achieve any goal or accomplish something. If you like to play in the mud, you can play in the mud as much as you can, and there is no need to force yourself to become a sculptor. Take advantage of opportunities as they arise and be in peace. The seasons alternate. There is a full moon only once a month. Many scenarios probably can only be experienced once in a lifetime. Therefore, it is said, opportunity knocks but once. When opportunities come, take the chance and take advantage of these opportunities fully. Do not miss the opportunity. Spring is the time to sow, and autumn is the time to harvest. Neither should be missed. When good things come, grab them quickly. When an opportunity comes, take the opportunity to do the things that should be done. Take advantage of the sunshine to dry your hay. Strike the iron while it is still hot. If the opportunity to become an official has come, hurry up and take the chance to become an official. When the chance to make a fortune comes, make haste. When the opportunity to accumulate merit has come, accumulate quickly. When the peach flower is about to bloom, hurry up and take the peach blossom for luck. When confidence comes, take the opportunity to get together for a few drinks and get drunk. When the gods, Buddhas, and celestials are here, my goodness, how can you miss such a golden opportunity that only comes once in a lifetime? If no opportunity comes, it does not matter. Overlook the tide's ebb and flow and flowers blooming and fading. Keep a calm mind. Even if you are a genius, if you do not have a chance, let it be buried. Life is short, but life is long. If the opportunity does not come today, wait for tomorrow. If it does not come this year, wait for next year. If it does not come this life, wait for the next life. Anyway, there will be opportunities. Do not be anxious or impatient. Follow the way of nature, and life will always be cool and comfortable. You will no longer have worries and sorrows, anxiety and fears. Enjoy life no matter where you are or what you are doing. Remember, it's not that you can achieve anything that you want to achieve, not that you can do whatever you want. Everything has been set and arranged in the program of the way of nature, and the path of conforming to the way of nature is the path of Buddhas and celestial beings. It can also be said that if a person can truly follow the way of nature completely and thoroughly, he is already a Buddha and a celestial being. 自然之道之秘解析 An analysis of the mysteries of the way of nature. Xiefeng, September 18th, 2021. Chanyuan celestials follow the way of the greatest creator, that is, the way of nature. So what is the way of nature? The way of nature has the following 8 mysteries. Pregnancy has a time limit, and the delivery time is set. The implication is that everything has a time limit and cannot be surpassed. Once it is surpassed, it is against the way of nature. Application: don't be in a hurry. If you have a wish in your heart, it is the equivalent of you being pregnant. When the wish will be delivered is related to the size of the wish. If your wish is just to have a cup of coffee, it can be realized in a few minutes or a few hours. If your wish is to own a luxurious villa, It may take several years or even decades to give birth. If your wish is to reach the kingdom of heaven, you need to wait for the time of delivery all your life. Sow in spring, cultivate in summer, harvest in autumn, store in winter. The meaning is to keep the timing sequence and don't mess with the order. If the timing sequence is wrong and the order is reversed, it violates the way of nature. Application: different age groups should do the things fitting of their age group. For example, childhood is a time for playing, and the teenage years are for learning. If you study in childhood, you will violate the way of nature, and if you begin laboring as teenagers, you violate the way of nature. Rubbing ropes against wooden boards will cut into them, and dripping water onto stones will wear them down. The meaning is that as long as you focus on something, there will be a moment when things will turn around and you will become suddenly enlightened. Application: concentrate on exploring a certain phenomenon or doing a certain thing. Don't be distracted, but wholly devoted. In this way, you will make gains. Reap melon from melon seeds and reap beans from bean seeds. The meaning is that you will reap what you sow. If you sow beauty, you will reap beauty. If you sow ugliness, you will reap ugliness. Application: plant what you need in the future. If you want to go to hell, plant evil. If you want to go to heaven, plant goodness. Merits and demerits must be examined. Rewards and punishments must be executed. It means that nothing, no words or deeds, can escape the eyes of heaven, and rewards or punishments will definitely come in due course. Application: always think of a pair of eyes above your head staring at you. So you must walk on a tightrope when doing things and when speaking, being neither cowardly nor tough. Channels form where water flows. Melons' pedicels fall when their fruit ripens. It means that you must have calmness and patience when doing things, and you should not rush for success. As long as you work hard, what you want will come true, and it will come naturally. Application: don't force anything. If you work hard enough, you will achieve it naturally. If you don't work hard enough, what you want will come to a premature end, and you will come out empty-handed. Follow one's nature. This is the way to Tao. It means that our nature is a gift from the greatest creator. If it is a cat, just catch the mouse. If it is a mouse, just dig holes and steal grain. If it is tuberose, just bloom and spread the fragrance. If it is a cow or sheep, eat grass. This is the arrangement of Tao. Doing so is in keeping with the Tao, which is the way of nature. Application: when people ask me whether they should choose A or B, whether they should go east or west, my answer is always listen to your inner voice and follow your innermost drive. Why? Because the loudest voice and driving force in your heart is the Tao, which is your nature. If you do this, you will become one with the Tao. Tao will manage the birth, growth, punishment, and destruction of everything. It means that when people come to this world, their role has already been determined in the cosmic life script. If the script determines that you are a thief, then you will never become a professor. If the script determines that you are a villain, then it is absolutely impossible for you to be a good person. The Chanyuan celestials I am looking for must be innate, and they cannot be cultivated by education, just like no matter how we cultivate and guide cucumbers, cucumbers will never turn into tomatoes. In the process of human beings playing the role in the cosmic life script, when your turning point comes, you can't hide from it, and it's useless for you to ask for help. If you are destined to be a big villain, that's the arrangement of Tao. You cannot refuse it even if you pray to gods and Buddhas for help. There are various factors and personnel arrangements that lead you to the path of being a great villain. Similarly, the same is true for wanting to become a saint. This is called Tao arranges the growth. There are countless people who have been punished in the world. Who is punishing people? On the surface, people are punishing people. Accidental events are punishing people, and natural disasters are punishing people. In fact, Tao is punishing people. The root cause lies in the natural law of you reap what you sow. If the Tao wants you to grow, no one can destroy you. If the Tao wants to punish you, no one can save you. Application: since it is up to the Tao to arrange your birth, don't try to change it, neither try to change others nor yourself. Since it is up to the Tao to arrange your growth, don't worry, and don't bother to find relationships and backers. What comes will come naturally, and what goes will go naturally. Since it is up to the Tao to arrange punishment, don't hide and don't complain. Since it is up to the Tao to arrange destruction, just smile and go with the wind. After understanding the secrets of the way of nature and looking at various phenomena in today's society, we will come to know that all bad phenomena are the results of violating the way of nature. Everyone can take stock and analyze their past and current situation. You will definitely find that your hardships and rough experiences are the result of you being against the way of nature. 我从游戏娱乐中看到了道的运行. I perceive the functioning of Tao through gaming and entertainment. Xiefeng, June 14th, 2023. Edited by Chanyuan. Playing struggling upstream poker game, playing mahjong, kicking shuttlecock, playing hide and seek, and engaging in various other game activities, does the Tao operate within them? The answer is undoubtedly yes, because Tao is present in everything, and everything exists within Tao. In games like struggling upstream, poker game, Tao is certainly operating. Tao governs the evolution of everything, so gaming and entertainment are also within the realm of Tao. Gaming and entertainment can serve as an opportunity for enlightenment and a form of spiritual practice. Through gaming and entertainment, one can also attain Tao. Many people have played the game struggling upstream in poker. Have you ever noticed that the probability of drawing the joker cards, the big and small jokers, is higher for the player upstream? Or they may be drawn by the player downstream and contributed to the player upstream. Isn't it fascinating? What does this indicate? It indicates that only the player upstream has the qualification to obtain the joker cards. This is a rule. Regardless of how you shuffle and deal cards, there is an 80% chance that the joker cards will end up in the hand of the player upstream, showcasing their nobility. Now, let's gather a few people to play struggling upstream and collect data to see how likely it is for the joker cards to end up in the hands of the player upstream. Can we come up with a convincing percentage rule? No, this percentage rule cannot be derived. Why is that? This involves the observer effect in quantum mechanics. Is light a particle or a wave? When there is no observer, light behaves as a wave. But when there is an observer, light behaves like a particle. Photons possess both wave-like and particle-like properties. The nature of light depends on the observer. If no one is observing, it behaves like a wave. If someone is observing, it behaves like a particle. So, here's the answer. When playing struggling upstream, do the joker cards end up in the hands of the player upstream or in the hands of other players? If everyone does not consciously count or keep track, the joker cards will likely go to the player upstream. However, if someone consciously counts or keeps track, it is highly probable that the joker cards will go to a player in the middle position. Quantum mechanics tells us that the manifestation of particles depends on interference of external factors. Once a person consciously wants to do something, the essential characteristics of things tend to exhibit completely opposite states. Does the operation of Tao have similar characteristics to the manifestation of particles? I cannot draw a conclusion at this moment because there are too many factors involved, and it is a complex matter. However, we can find some clues from natural phenomena. For example, the saying, when consciously planting flowers, they do not bloom, but unintentionally planting willows, they grow in abundance. Intentionally planting flowers involves too many human factors, so they do not bloom. Unintentionally planting willows lacks human influence, so they grow luxuriantly. As willow trees are easy to grow while flowers are difficult to cultivate. This phenomenon widely exists in nature and various aspects of human society. Based on the above analysis, I would like to propose the following 5 hypotheses. The history we learn from books may be precisely the opposite of real history. What we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch may all be false or illusory. Conscious and desirous efforts of individuals may be opposite to their ideals. Living without intent or purpose may align most closely with the operation of Tao and make it easier to attain. Living out one's true nature is the unification of Tao. Qingzhai, the affection debt. Xiefeng, January 31st, 2022. Translated by Chanyuan, edited by Peter. Debts can include property debts, money debts, affection debts, nature debts, and life debts. Property debt. You borrowed something from someone else and didn't return it, or you ate or took something that belongs to someone else without repaying it. You then owe a property debt. Money debt. You borrowed money from others and didn't repay it, so you now owe a money debt. Affection debt. You received help from others or received physical, psychological, and spiritual comfort without returning or compensating them. You incur an affection debt. Nature debt. Anyone who harms nature or others without making sufficient efforts and contributions will owe a nature debt. Life debt. As the saying goes, one who murders pays with the forfeit with his life. In fact, if you kill any life, you have to pay with your own life. If you killed a life and have not paid for it, then you owe a life debt. What we need to be vigilant about and keep in mind is that as long as the above-mentioned debts are not repaid, we will inevitably enter reincarnation, and there is absolutely no hope of going to heaven. This article focuses on affection debts. Affection debts are divided into debts of favor and love debts. The debt of favor means that others have helped you, but you have not correspondingly helped them, so you owe a debt of favor. Therefore, everyone should carefully recall who has helped them. If you have received help from others but have not returned the corresponding help, you should quickly find a way and an opportunity to help them. There is a value in life at Chanyuan. Do not offer help if someone does not ask for it. If you helped someone without him asking for it, you are actually hurting him because he thus owes you a debt of favor, and you will make him become a pig in the next life. It is cruel to make him transform into a pig, dog, cow, or sheep to pay you back in the next life. Love debts are mainly the debts owed by men and women who are in love. People need comfort in their spirits and souls, and also need comfort in their physiology. When people get physical and receive psychological and spiritual comfort from the other side without giving the corresponding consolation to that other side, then they owe a debt of love. There is a predestined relationship in a love debt, and that predestined relationship is also a debt. Once you feel that you still have feelings for someone and feel that you are in debt to someone, or you can't forget him or her because of the deep affection, that means you owe a love debt. One of the core components of self-improvement and self-cultivation is to strive to repay the debts of property, money, affection, nature, and life. The most effective way to repay them is to do formless almsgiving, which especially works well for paying off life debts. I hope that on this New Year's Eve, everyone will have a clear mind, give more, and take less, and after entering the Lunar New Year, repay all kinds of debts and end all kinds of worldly ties, and go to heaven freely and unrestrainedly. 思路清晰人生才顺才有未来. Clear thinking leads to a smooth life and a promising future. Xiefeng, February 1st, 2022. Edited by Chanyuan. I mainly study the books without words. The natural phenomena and social changes are books without words, and people are also books without words. Reading people is like reading books without words. After studying many individuals, I've noticed a pattern. The clearer and more organized one's thinking, the smoother their life tends to be. Conversely, a disorganized mind leads to a difficult life. A core factor for an unsatisfactory life is a confused thought process. If one's thinking is muddled, their life is bound to be turbulent. From this, we understand that to make our life smoother, our first step should not be to pursue external success, but rather to adjust our thinking. Once our thoughts become clear, a smooth life will naturally follow. To predict someone's future, don't focus on their wealth, status, or facial features and physiognomy based on the 8 characters, Bazi. Instead, pay attention to the clarity of their thinking. If their thoughts are unclear, their future will likely be chaotic. If their thoughts fluctuate between clarity and confusion, their future will be a mix of success and failure. However, if someone's thinking is consistently clear, even reaching a state of profound understanding, their life will not only be smooth, but will also lead them to a heavenly realm. The direction a nation or a country is headed can be determined by the clarity of the thinking of its citizens, especially that of its leadership. If the thinking is unclear, without a doubt, the future of that nation or country will be in turmoil. On the contrary, if the thinking is clear, the future will be bright, leading to prosperity and success. If you don't believe my viewpoint, you can randomly select an elderly person and observe whether their life has been smooth or not. If it has been, then check the clarity of their thinking. Without a doubt, it will be clear and organized. Take the case of a high-ranking official who has been steadily advancing in their career for over a decade. Suddenly, they commit a crime and are imprisoned, and their assets are confiscated. They experience a major setback. Is this a result of clear thinking or confusion? Undoubtedly, it is due to unclear thinking, as they believe that being in a position of power allowed them to act with impunity. Their lack of clear thinking led to this outcome. When someone writes an article, if it lacks focus, is rambling, has disjointed arguments, and is full of loopholes, without a doubt, their thinking is unclear, and their life will certainly not be smooth. Anyone who follows such an individual, no matter how many people he attracts, will ultimately suffer. Similarly, look at a person's living environment. If their bedroom, yard, and surroundings are dirty and messy, with garbage scattered everywhere, clothes and bedding left in disarray, and dishes piled up in the sink, there is no need for further analysis. Their thinking is undoubtedly unclear, and their life will match their environment, chaotic and disordered. How to make one's thinking clear? This question is too broad and extensive to be fully revealed in a few sentences. It involves one's past merits, faith, worldview, values, and outlooks on life and life. However, one point worth considering is to read more books, travel more, observe more, and engage in deeper contemplation. Extend the scope of your thoughts as far as possible into the distant future. For example, the results of thinking about something 1 year ahead will be different from thinking about it 10 years ahead, and thinking about it 100 years or even 1,000 years ahead will be entirely different. The longer the time span of your thinking, the clearer your mind will become. Short-term thinking leads to scattered thoughts, and as a result, your mind cannot be clear. Conversely, long-term thinking leads to a clear mind. Short-term thinking leads to confusion. 慢聊远见与短视的差异. Chatting about the difference between foresight and short-sightedness. Xiefeng, February 2nd, 2022. Edited by Chanyuan. The farther we look ahead, the simpler and lighter life becomes. The closer we focus, the more complex and burdensome it becomes. Are you considering tomorrow's life? Or are you thinking about life 10 years from now? How about 60 years from now? Or even 100 years from now? Imagine ourselves standing at a crossroads, with one path led by a president saying, "Follow me, and I will give you a position in government." Another path led by a billionaire saying, "Follow me, and I will make you rich." Then, a pastor saying, "Follow me, and I will lead you to heaven." Finally, a philosopher saying, "Follow me, and I will help you discern right from wrong." Which path should we choose? This decision involves a person's perspective. As we have already clarified, the longer the time limit for thinking about outcomes, the clearer our thoughts become, and the brighter our future becomes. Conversely, the shorter the time limit for thinking, the more confused we are about the future. At the same time, we know that tigers will never grow wings. We should never fantasize about having all the advantages. Thus, when making choices, we know that following the president will only secure tomorrow's benefits, following the billionaire will secure benefits 10 years from now, following the pastor will secure benefits after death, and following the philosopher will ensure that we live a clear and straightforward life. Now, who are you ready to follow? Is there anyone thinking, "I'll follow the president first. Maybe I can gain a position, make money, go to heaven, and live a clear life"? If you think that way, it proves that your thinking is unclear, and the issue of foresight and short-sightedness does not even arise. You are a muddled individual, a patient with schizophrenia, living in a fantasy world because such a thing is almost impossible. The vast majority of people in humanity lack foresight. They drift with the wind, pursuing immediate benefits, saying, "Whoever offers me the most money, I'll follow them," or "I'll follow whoever can provide me with comfort, excitement, and pleasure," or "I'll follow whoever can give me a government position," or "I'll follow whoever has the highest reputation." These are all short-sighted behaviors. It's similar to many parents helping their children choose a college and major based solely on which one will best secure a job with a higher salary after graduation, a very short-sighted approach. Foresight means knowing the future outcome of a certain phenomenon. The longer the time span of knowing the result, the more foresight one has. For example, some people see a child's appearance, behavior, and way of speaking and conclude that the child will become an outstanding talent 20 years later. Others see a teenager shoveling manure while reading a book and predict that this person will undoubtedly become a future leader. Some people witness an official accepting a bribe, and predict that this person will end up in prison 10 years later, and so on. These are all instances of foresight. Short-sightedness, on the other hand, means prioritizing immediate benefits without considering the future consequences. For example, polluting rivers and exploiting others for personal wealth, giving up faith for personal safety and gain, betraying close friends and family for promotion, willingly singing praises to the devil to avoid risks, distorting facts, and confusing right and wrong for the sake of promotion, and being opportunistic without principles. These are all forms of short-sightedness. The benefits of foresight are avoiding pitfalls, being proactive and taking preventive measures, and maintaining confidence in the future even during extremely challenging times, instead of compromising one's principles to ally with wrongdoers and assist in their evil deeds. The tragedy of short-sightedness is that it may bring temporary gains and secure personal interests. However, when circumstances change, they might encounter troubles or even disasters. Anyone only considering immediate benefits or benefits 3 to 4 years ahead is undoubtedly short-sighted. Those considering benefits 10 years or longer ahead are surely individuals with foresight. Anyone considering benefits 100 years ahead is extraordinary and no longer an ordinary person. As for those considering benefits thousands, tens of thousands, or billions of years ahead, they are surely gods, Buddhas, or immortals. 自然之道在日常生活中的运用. The application of the way of nature in daily life. Xiefeng. November 2nd, 2022. Edited by Chanyuan. What is the way of nature? Let us gain inspiration and understanding from the natural world. Take a corn seed, plant it in moist soil, and within 1 day, the embryo germinates. After about 1 week, a small shoot emerges from the ground. Around 27 days later, it starts to grow new leaves. After 52 days, it develops corn silk, and male pollen appears at the top. Around 90 days later, the corn cob matures. In about 100 days, the corn will be ready for harvest. The corn grain takes 100 days from entering the soil to maturing, and this is the way of nature. An egg hatches into a chicken in around 21 days under normal conditions, and this is also the way of nature. Water freezes into solid at 0 degrees, melts into liquid above 0 degrees, and evaporates into gas at 100 degrees. Temperature changes lead to variations in the water's molecular state, and this is the way of nature. Water flows naturally, and when the melon is ripe, it falls off the vine. These are powerful proofs of the way of nature. Looking at the vast world, apart from many phenomena caused by human activities, all other phenomena change and evolve according to the way of nature. It can be said that all things in the world follow the way of nature. Humans are one species in nature and are also bound by the laws of the way of nature. For example, aging and death are inevitable, but humans have subjectivity and thinking, so they have the tendency and ability to deviate from the way of nature. When we summarize the disasters in human society and the causes of individual troubles and suffering, we find that they are caused precisely by violating the way of nature. Conversely, when society is stable, the weather is favorable, and people live happily and contentedly, it is a result of adhering to and following the way of nature. Therefore, we can conclude that when people obey and follow the way of nature, society becomes harmonious and stable, and people live in harmony and happiness. On the other hand, when they go against and disrupt the way of nature, society becomes turbulent and unstable, and people suffer and endure hardships. So how do we obey the way of nature? Let me explain through some everyday phenomena. The phenomenon of sudden wealth. Analyzing the 100-day maturity process of corn seeds after entering the soil, we can see that the phenomenon of sudden wealth goes against the way of nature. Wealth and prosperity should be accumulated little by little, day by day, following the natural course of events. Instant wealth is not in accordance with the way of nature, and its result is catastrophic. It leads to extreme and distorted psychological activities, dramatic changes in language, gestures, and even physiological functions. The attitudes and demands of others towards the individual change, often leading to contradictions and conflicts. In such cases, the phenomenon of sudden wealth results in inflated desires, strained relationships, an imbalanced normal life order, and twisted and distorted mental states. In short, it increases troubles, suffering, anxiety, and fear. Many people love gambling, playing the stock market for speculation, and engaging in betting. All of these are the psychological outcomes that go against the principles of the way of nature. Similarly, corruption, borrowing money for business ventures, to quickly get the first bucket of gold, to live in a luxurious mansion, drive luxury cars, and so on. All ideas and actions aimed at getting rich quickly go against the way of nature. This is like sowing corn seeds and expecting a harvest after just 3 to 5 days. The result will undoubtedly bring numerous troubles, sufferings, anxiety, and worries. Therefore, everything cannot be rushed. Any mentality or action that seeks quick success violates the way of nature, and the result is undoubtedly contrary to one's wishes. By going against the way of nature, any self-satisfied success will bring countless hidden dangers. These hidden dangers will gradually be exposed or erupt in the individual's future life. For example, corrupt officials who are smug and self-satisfied may end up in prison or get kidnapped or murdered in their future life journey. The fear of death. 99% of people have a fear of death, which is a very irrational mentality. Death is the most natural and just thing, as everything in the world ultimately leads to death. Even the heaven and the earth will have a day of extinction. How could humans be an exception? To eliminate the fear of death, one must understand the principles of the way of nature. Once understood, one can face death calmly without disturbance. Death is not an accidental event. It is an inevitable trend that cannot be avoided. Therefore, the best mentality is to embrace death with a smile.